Welcome to another edition of Forethought the Final Frontier. In this episode, we're going to take a look at other resources and capabilities of the curriculum pane. Let's begin. First off, the curriculum pane, remember, gets opened when you click within a lesson content area. The curriculum pane will always be located on the right-hand side of your screen as you do that. Now, let's say, for example, your curriculum pane is gone. Well, there's a button over here in the corner that can actually collapse the curriculum pane so you no longer see it. To open it back up, you click on Show. So that is a very important button to remember if your curriculum pane disappears. Now, the area of the curriculum pane we're going to focus on is down here in the bottom right-hand corner. This shows me different things that I have based on my items that I click within the curriculum. So let's look at an example. So let's go here and look at examples within the curriculum on so let's click on a standard and see what shows up into the bottom right corner. When I click on 6B, for example, in third grade math, you will see that under the resources box I have a resource listed, and that resource only shows up if something is attached to that standard. For example, the curriculum at a glance, when I click on that icon, it has a third 9 weeks curriculum attachment to it. So let's go back to that 6B. And so when I click on this, I can get a preview of what's going on, or if I double click on it, it gives me a full pop-up window that allows me to see the full lesson. And what's nice about this is it does give me the ability to go through and use it in my plans. Well, I'm going to close that for now. Let's look at something else. Now, when I look at the 6B, I can also click over here, and this is called the TEKS and the tax standard. And what it does is it gives me the list of all the TEKS that are on there. And this is things that are associated with 6B. It gives you a little bit more information about it. Now, the button next to that is our performance standard. This one is using aware. It'll give you if there was a test or a benchmark that was given and this standard was on that test, you should be able to see data down here in the performance area on how your students did as long as they are attached to your lesson planner. The last button over here is called History. History tells you how many times you've actually taught that lesson for the year, which means it tells you how many times you've actually clicked that standard into your lesson planner. And if you have not clicked anything into that lesson planner, you get this. This learning standard has not been taught yet. So let's go back to a different subject and let's see if we have any standards that might show up for that. So I'm going to click on 5A and it shows the same thing. Each time you click on different standards, it will tell you if you have plans or not as you go through. Now, I know that if I go back through my standards, you can see that here in this second grade math lesson, I have several things that I've used within this standard. And notice I have green check marks. So that means I did use this throughout the school year. And so if I click on 5A and look at history, it will tell me now I taught this standard on January 22nd and May 30th of this school year. So that is why it is important for you to be clicking your lesson plans in, because it gives you a chance to look at that history as you go through. Without the history, you don't know if you've actually taught the material on there. Now, the last thing to look at within your lesson planner, your content area here for the curriculum, is to look at this thing called a checklist. A checklist does not show up in the curriculum pane, but it shows up within the lesson content area. And this can be important to use because you can also track this. And the different items that are listed here may change depending on how the district wants to use this box. But all you have to do is click the items and it saves that information into there, and you can see what objective level engagement comes from there. It also gives you the ability to print this information to see how many times I use technology within my class, or how many times I use knowledge questions or comprehension or application and so on. This has been another episode of Forethought the Final Frontier.